friends, I recently purchased some calendars and notepads from our dollar store and turned them into the most adorable little booklets. I can't wait to share this with you so you can make these at home too. So let's start stamping. So these are the two items that I recently purchased at our local dollar store. This is a calendar and notepad, and then a photo garland that has 6 photo frames, the twine, and the little clothes pegs. So I thought those would be really fun to turn into cute little, a Christmas ornament for this one, and then a little pocket notebook with a calendar that I could carry in my purse. And I thought these would be terrific little gifts or for craft fairs. So I want to show you what I came up with for these. So the first thing I'm going to make is the notepad holder. It is so quick and easy. So what I'm going to do is I am going to cut this in half. So I'm just going to carefully cut down the center. And just trim that up a little bit. Okay, it's pretty uneven, so I'm going to trim it up again. And of course, I could take the calendar right off and put it on something different behind it, but I'm just going to keep this background. So now there's a magnet on the back of this. I am going to use that for my second project. So I'm going to take that off, and that should be good like that. Okay, so now I have my 2 pieces, and I'm going to trim this off just a teeny tiny bit as well. Okay, so I have a piece of soft succulent cardstock. This measures 8.5 by 5.5, and I'm going to score it at 4.5 and 4. Okay, so now I'm going to fold on those creases. I'm going to use my bone folder to get a really good crease. And this will make my little booklet. So now I'm going to bring in my tear and tape because I want to adhere this to the inside, and I want to make sure it is on there really, really good. So you want to have a very strong adhesive holding that down. And I'm just going to line that up inside. Oh, actually, before I put this on, I'm going to add a little bit of ribbon. So I have a piece of soft succulent ribbon, and it doesn't really matter too much how long it is. You just want to make sure it's long enough to tie a little knot or a bow to close your book. So I just added some tear tape. And I'm just going to put my ribbon in the center, and then put my book, my little notepad I should say, it's going to go right here. Right? So now it's time to do the front. So easy. So the designer series paper that I'm using is Sweet Symmetry. It is in our current annual catalog. And I basically just grabbed that because I wanted a pop of color, and it kind of, you know, pulls out some of the colors in the flowers on here. But really, I just want to use up some of my designer series papers. So I'm going to take another piece of tear and tape, put that down. Take my second piece of ribbon and just line it up against that first piece that I put down. And now I'm going to glue on my designer series paper. Okay. So I will come back to that front in just a second. So next I'm bringing in a piece of basic white. This measures the same as this Designer Series paper, which I don't think I told you what that measured. It measures 5 1/4 by 3 3/4. This one measures exactly the same. And I'm going to glue that on the inside flap. So this is going to go here. And then this piece is going to actually cover the top half. So you can trim this up if you want. I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. Just going to trim this up a bit. I'm losing some of that pink on the sides, but I'll have a little bit along the top here. Now I'm going to position my calendar right in the center like so. To decorate this portion, I have chosen the hand-penned petals. And I like it because the flowers coordinate with this, and I love the sentiment, anything is possible. I have decided to stamp this with my crumb cake because I don't want it to be too dark with the black. Because I'm going to stamp my sentiment on top of this in black. And this is a fun stamp set because it's a 2-step stamp set, which I always love. So I'm going to pick that up. And I'm going to pull in some polished pink. I'm going to stamp that off because I don't want it to be super dark for this flower. And I can see I got a little bit of ink there, so I'll try to fix that. This one I do want full strength. And I missed a little bit, so I'm going to stamp it again right on top. Now I'm going to do some blue to pull in this. And there was a little bit of blue on that one from not cleaning it beforehand. And that's all right. I think I'm going to go with Pacific Point, actually. And I'm going to lift this up because it's kind of in the way. And these don't have to line up perfectly. And then stamp again without re-inking. And I'm going to use soft succulent for some of the leaves. Now I'm bringing in my crushed curry marker, and I'm going to use that to color in the center of the flowers. So very simple, keeping it easy. And now I want to stamp the anything is possible on a scrap piece of paper. And instead of putting it down here, I'm going to put it up here to hide that smudge mark that I have. So I just have scrap pieces that I keep from when I'm trimming my cardstock. And I'm going to use that and black. And I'm going to use this die from the Painted Labels dies to cut that out. Okay, so here's my die cut. And I'm going to put that on with a couple of Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm just going to grab some rhinestones. I know I put the yellow in the center, so this is a bit of an afterthought, but that yellow will still show around the diamond, you see? So that looks really, really nice. There's the inside of my little book, and I'm going to close it up and tie a bow. A little bit more ribbon than what I needed, so I'm just going to trim off a tiny little bit. Now to decorate the front, I'm going to use the same stamp set, but I'm going to use a different stamp. And this time, I think I am going to use black. So one of the colors in this designer series paper is Calypso Coral. So I'm going to put some of that onto my flower. Okay, so I have stamped Calypso Coral on that one, and I just used this stamp here. And now I'm going to go into my polished pink and stamp this flower. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to take my soft succulent ink pad, tap it onto my clear block, and I'm going to pick it up with my water painter and use that to color these. Now, I should have used Stays On instead of Memento, because Memento can absolutely bleed with water, but I didn't think of this at the time. Okay. The other thing you can do too is you can use a blender pen to pull in the color that you stamped where you've got the white. I'll do that down here too. Bring my crushed curry back, go in there, and I'm going to cut that out with the coordinating die. So Stampin' Up! Has a free download. I believe it's called United Together. I will put the link for it in the description of this video. But I just printed off page 3, which is this one, because I really like these two verses. One, when we unite a creative light, we light people's lives. And the other, you are not a drop in the ocean, you are the entire ocean in a drop. And I love that. And a lot of these fit perfectly, again, with the painted label dies. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut this piece out. You can see there's also French and there's German. So we've got all the different languages in this beautiful free download from Stampin' Up. So I'm going to grab this die and run that through my die cutting machine. So I cut out 2 of these. So I have 2 to choose from for this book. I think I'm just going to go with that one, to be honest. So I'm going to put that on first with my dimensionals. And I think I'm going to put this on like so. So I'm going to glue some of that flower, and I'm going to put some dimensionals behind it too. So I'm going to put one here, and one here. And then let's see now, a little bit here and a little bit there, because So that's just going to get tucked under just like that. Oops. I want a little bit of glue behind this guy. So there's my little notebook. Kept it very simple, really, really fun. And let's show you the inside again. Here's my inside. So that is a really easy gift to make. And you can keep it as simple or fancy-pantsy as you want. You can really get creative making these. So here's another one that I've made using a brighter pattern designer series paper. You can see I used this sentiment and die cut on this one. And I didn't trim around the edge like I did on this one. I just kept it so that it was pretty much flush with the white paper, and then I stamped the Stampin' Up Statement of the Heart down below. So there are the two notebooks. They were so much fun to make. I think these are going to make beautiful little gifts and wonderful little items to sell at craft fairs. And my next video will be part 2, where I show you what I create using one of these frames from the photo garland packet that I picked up from the dollar store. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Take care and happy stamping.